So I'm going to talk to you very quickly about its building search in a week-ish this week. We're still halfway through. It's been about a week already. So it won't be quite a week into production, but almost. So I work for Tido. We're building a Spotify for sheet music type app. We started off with 3 volumes. It took us a load of time to get to 3 volumes. We've now got 1,000 pieces, a bunch of stuff. You can find La La Land, loads of stuff. The problem is that actually you can't find it. This is what my hypothesis is anyway. So our current database, we're running on DynamoDB. I don't know if anyone else using DynamoDB? 1, you work with me. 2, yeah, it's not that common. It's really cool. If you're using nodes, I recommend a really good module. It's not actually mine. I've inherited it. I need some help, actually, so if you want to use it and then help out, that would be really useful. But basically, Dynamo provides indexes and scans as the basic kind of lookup material that you can use and filters. So for searching, that becomes quite problematic. So our first, I should say my first idea was to basically take all of the key bits of material that we want, stick it all into one big string, deburr it, so take off all of the accents and all that sort of stuff, lowercase everything, like super naive search. Use the scans feature, but it kind of worked, and it was enough to demonstrate back to the team what we could do very quickly to show what we could, like how search might be able to work. So then product went away and kind of designed some UIs and all that sort of stuff. Then we started looking at like what would it really be like. We run 10% time. We can't afford 20% like Google, but 10% time. One of our engineers ran off and kind of had a look at AWS to see what was available. 2 options, ElasticSearch and Cloud Search. Cloud Search is Solar. ElasticSearch is ElasticSearch. They both come from Lucene. Like it's basically the same sort of stuff, slightly different kind of service level. We didn't really play with Cloud Search, but I did have a quick play the other day, and it's really cool if you're using DynamoDB if you want kind of predictive indexes, because you can tell it to take a sample from your DynamoDB table, and then it will build the index for you. So it will kind of select the bits and pieces that you like, the types and all that sort of stuff. And bear in mind that DynamoDB is a completely kind of just throw anything at it database, complete document, anything could be in there, and it will build the indexes off that for you, which is quite nice. So like this. It's not great, because I'm not entirely sure what this field is at the bottom here, just I. It's most of the stuff is in there. So we decided to actually go with ElasticSearch, the AWS ElasticSearch Service. It's ElasticSearch as a service. It is pretty much vanilla ElasticSearch. So if you've used ElasticSearch outside of AWS, you can just use it here, transfer everything in, boom, done. It's nice and easy. So one of the problems that we've got is we've got our database over here, but we need to keep the Elasticsearch index up to date. So we can run our one-off batch scripts. We can use the DynamoDB event streams. I don't know, so not many people have used it, but you might have heard about this. Any changes in the database to any of the rows can trigger an event. And an event, you can subscribe to that event using a Lambda function, SNS, all those other cool AWS things. Or we can just run it on like a cron job. So just like, well, if it's cool for it to be run like out of date for a day, it's probably fine. So demo time. We built, I actually want this, don't I? Can you see this? So this is our now search index. Running off our prod database. Now, so the suggestion there is Bark. Hoping this is going to work. So, I did put this talk together, but like while I was sat there. So I have prepared some predefined searches at the top. I'm not entirely sure what it's doing behind the scenes. I've never used ElasticSearch in my life before, but it does do some really cool stuff. And this is what I'm going to spend the rest of the week looking into is why is it returning these results? So this book here by Pam Wedgwood is not Bark. There is nothing in there that says Bark, but there is something clever going on here. And I need to find out what that is. But it does do some nice stuff. I can never remember how to spell Tchaikovsky. I'm not a classical musician. I know that this guy existed. I know it kind of feels a bit like Is it gonna work? No. Chat. Cough. No. Well, anyway, I prepared a bad search earlier. This one. And it still works, which is really cool. So it's doing some really funky, fuzzy matching. You can configure it to do all sorts of different things. We've kind of set it up in a super simple kind of start MVP fashion. But really, really pleased with how far we got in a few days just by hooking into the AWS infrastructure and not really writing a lot of code. I'll show you roughly. This is the script that we're going to run on a poll. So we can drop the whole index here. So I do have another talk titled Clarke doesn't use Lodash enough, but apparently I do now. But we grab, all of our content is geo-restricted as well, so you can only get La La Land in Europe and all that sort of stuff. So we've got all of the countries, we basically shove in. Everybody is in an organization, but we grab all of our, where's the products? Yeah, so we grab all of the organizations, we grab all of our products from the database. So that's one scan. Rather than doing that on every single search, we now do that once a day to grab everything. Limits the number of hits to our database. We then massage it with all of this stuff, and then we throw it in. This is a bit of a funkiness because I was getting timeouts on ElasticSearch. But again, MVP. Throw it all into Elasticsearch using we had a bit of a problem with the security. So we used HTTP. I can't find it. Oh, it's wrapped up in the service. You have to kind of sign all of the URLs if you want to make Elasticsearch Service safe on AWS. Safe. So that was a bit of a funkiness that we had to kind of get through. And then throw it all in and display a summary. And that's basically it. Any questions?